Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another episode of the Video Game Podcast with myself, Meta Abe, and Hell Pockets. And we've had a little bit of a hiatus and back with so much news that has happened and events that have happened over the course of that time. And I don't know, Chris, I'm pretty excited to be able to uncover all this information and talk about it.
I feel like we could have picked any week and there would be something to talk about. That is how insane this news cycle has been since basically the announcement of the release dates for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series. There just hasn't been a week or there hasn't either been a bombshell or something got revealed or something leaked and this week it all happened. All three of those things happened.
Yeah, man, it's a dream for influencers out there. It's printing money. Easy money in the video game industry influencer category.
Which I have to we have to tell the people, Abe, that we unfortunately are not among the influencer elite. We have to get this out of the way. We do not have a PS5. They did not. I guess ours got lost in the mail or something. I definitely sent something to Sony. Yeah. You know, with the box of cookies saying, "Hey, bros, like we really appreciate what you're trying to do for us, but I think you might have typoed the address."
Yeah, I linked a bunch of people from Bandai Namco and SNK, even though they probably don't remember who I am. But I worked with them, so I feel like it's only justified. It's justified, you know?
100% is justified. You know, you've been on official channels. You are a trustworthy individual in the industry. And you can't say that about all the people. You can't say that about everybody who has the opportunity to receive wonderful things like a advanced release of a PS5 or, in some cases, an advanced release of a game. Not everybody is trustworthy as you or I.
No, which is crazy, especially since we've been so good about embargoes and any types of NDAs, and then we get stuff getting posted on Twitter breaking those embargoes and NDAs, and I'm just sitting here like, you could have had us, man. We are people of color too. You know, we have the diversity going for us.
We know when we fucked up.
Yeah, dude. Come on, man. Like,
it's not a mystery.
You guys could have had us. Is all I'm saying. You know, SNK influencers didn't get us in there, but maybe in the future some wrongs will be righted. You know,
possibly. You know, maybe we'll actually get a crack at KOF 15. But you're talking about the embargoes and the breaking of the embargoes, and I gotta say, like, I didn't even know some of these things that we were seeing today were breaking embargo, but in retrospect it actually makes perfect sense. Yeah, like, especially that video you showed me of the Miles Morales edition of Spider-Man and the loading time, and I'm like, why didn't that dude just record that shit directly?
Dude, so you know what's so funny about that is I also didn't even consider it breaking any embargoes or NDAs. Just because I was like, oh, sweet. I just saw the video and I was like, awesome. The load times are amazing. And then another person that I follow on Twitter, they said, wow, somebody broke embargo and NDA. And I didn't even put two and two together until somebody in the comment thread was like, oh, you talking about the Miles Morales video. And I was
no.
I was like, I just saw that. I was like, I don't know, man. Yeah, you're right. That is breaking embargo for sure. But
motherfucker thought he was slick too, because he was recording on his phone instead of just direct capturing it. Like any influencer worth his salt would have a direct capture like a device either in their home or on hand when they're working with a brand new piece of equipment. Because you and I both know firsthand that's one of the things they tell you to bring to that shit is capture equipment, because we're not going to hook you up with that.
Exactly. And the other thing is this dude was like responding in the comments and giving details about what's going on with the PS5.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy, bro. It's, you know, we've had our experiences with other people breaking NDA and embargoes and our stuff that we deal with. And man, this is one of those things where this person could not wait. You could tell that the steam was breaking through the pipes, bro. And this guy, I have had enough. You guys need to see the greatness of Miles Morales
bust.
on PS5. You guys gotta see this. And you know what? I understand after I saw the video, cause bro, I'm ready.
That was pretty hype.
I'm ready for the future. You know what I mean? I'm ready for the future.
Like everything we saw from the Miles Morales update, it made me want to buy the game 100%. I have not touched Insomniac's Spider-Man game, but seeing the suit, which I hope was not breaking NDA.
Oh no! That
was official.
That was an official announcement that they made a suit that was from the animated movie Into the Spider-Verse, which this is why you need to play the original Spider-Man, because bro, there's just so many awesome suits in there, so much fan service. It's such an amazing game, and it's a crime that you have not played that. But
I'm a fucking hipster, you know how it is.
These people that listen to this podcast need to know, in case they haven't already listened to the past episodes. You are a PC guy, and it is what it is.
If they make that game on PC,
They're not.
I'm just saying, dude, if they had the opportunity to do it, I might have had my hands on it already. But seeing that suit and the way it performs, just like the Into the Spider-Verse movie, animation-wise, I was impressed. And I thought to myself, this is something I want to get behind, because obviously the people making this game really care about this product and they care about the IP, and I trust them. The fact that they would add that little nuance to the suit, because they could have easily just added the suit and changed nothing else, right? But they actually changed the way the character moves.
The drop frames.
Which, in theory, is actually not that great.
Right.
At the same time, it was still pretty cool that they paid homage to it in that way. And I'm totally willing to see it as creative license, artistic integrity.
Yeah, in the original Spider-Man, they had the Spider-Man movie outfit from the Tobey Maguire movie. And they had some of the costumes from like the Avengers and the Homecoming movie as well.
Sick.
So, I mean, that game, if you guys haven't played it, it's pretty damn cheap right now. Get it. It's worth your time. It's a classic game, and you're going to have a lot of fun. But anyways, they did break embargo, and one of the things that we've been really excited about is just performance-wise. Like, how are games going to perform on next gen, right? We haven't seen a lot for the PS5. We've seen a bunch of stuff breaking down Xbox Series X backwards compatibility.
And the performance related to that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just we've gotten so little information and visual stuff from PS5. Very curated videos from them, and not so much from. I mean, they had unboxing videos, like. I mean, I don't care, bro. I thought they were gonna turn it on or something,
You talking about when they actually took the motherfucker apart?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
The influencers actually took it out of the box, like all the influencers that got PS5s, they took it out of the box. They did the same thing with Xbox Series X, but we've already seen so much with Xbox Series X.
Usually the unboxing part of the Xbox Series X videos were just like the prequel to them showing us how the backwards compatibility functioned with the Series X, which was so impressive. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, with the PS5, they're showing us what this thing looks like on the inside. I'm like, man, I don't give a shit about that. Like, I built my own PCs. This shit does not impress me, bro.
Which actually gets me to thinking, right? Because an unboxing video of a PS5 right now probably nets you some pretty hefty views, right?
I'm sure, because they're probably hoping you might slip in a few previews of footage. That's literally the only thing we haven't seen is real footage of shit that hasn't been controlled by Sony with itself. And so I think what happened here was some of those guys who got the PS5 for unboxing reasons decided that they what's a little harm in showing people how it looks like when I turn the motherfucker on, right?
I mean, might as well. I gotta hear. I've been playing was Astrobot, which is the only game they're allowed to preview at this point. They're like, yeah, I've been here playing this game, but I mean, I got Miles Morales right here, bro. Like, why don't you let me show it off? You know what I'm saying?
Your job is to be a streamer, and you're thinking like, dude, I got to compete with so many people. By the time that this embargo lifts, I have to be like such a winning personality. Is my personality that magnetic?
No.
Am I that attractive of a person that I can just hit the start button on the stream at the same time as Maximilian and take all his viewers?
Yeah, dude, that's all it takes, man, is just, jumping ahead, and I'm pretty sure you're going to maintain those viewers. If things aren't going to change, your career's going to lift off in the game industry.
They can't take it away from them, right? It's not like they can take back the PS5 now.
No, that clout is permanent. That mission accomplished on the clout chasing, you did it, bro.
Yeah, because I'm guaranteed they had to delete the tweet, but the information is out there right now.
Yeah,
and they've got some numbers behind it now. They've got some people saying you're my homie. That's the homie now.
Yeah, I mean,
for La Raza.
La Raza. Yeah, but I was also thinking about the other influencers and how they're probably pissed that this dude's like, hey, man, you're fucking up my money. You cannot be doing this. I got videos I got to put out too, and they're lit as fuck, and I was supposed to be one of the first people to break this down, and you're screwing it up, man.
I tell you what, dude, I won't be surprised if in 10 years, fucking influencers start disappearing mysteriously. They go to these industry parties and all of a sudden you never hear from them again.
I mean, how many times does a PS5 get released too? This is probably going to be the most amount of views they get in the next 5 years, likely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because I guarantee you that if the things that happen with the PS5 are as monumental as we've been making them out to be.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think this is getting a little ahead of ourselves, obviously, but a PlayStation 6, unless the damn thing's a fucking PC, I don't think it's going to matter. This is literally the fork in the road for consoles in the future. There's not a lot of other things that they can do beyond just becoming a PC and keeping up with the PC brands.
Yep, I mean, pretty much. And if... You know what, man? I think maybe the reason that this embargo was broken, let's look on the little more optimistic side. Maybe this person that broke the embargo was like, there's been too much bad news in video games news lately. Video games possible. Are like, there's been delays up the ass. One of my favorite games of all time, Halo, just keeps getting bad press.
Oh, my God.
I've had enough. And I need to put out something positive. Here's something from Miles Morales. Something that's not delayed, that's coming out on the PS5.
You're probably... I half believe that. Yeah. But I also half believe that what if this was like a pre-planned thing on not necessarily Sony of Japan, but a Sony Entertainment exec say, you know what? We're just going to leak our own shit. Because... everybody keeps telling us you should do what Microsoft is doing and release consoles to the players and let them just preview the stuff right in front of everybody. Full transparency. And Sony's like, we don't have a word for that in our business. Transparency? You talking about the thing we fucking do our meetings on? No, we're not going to do that. Yeah. So what if they just said, hey, what if they said to one of these influencers, if you happen to show anything from the game, don't think of it as the end of the world.
I doubt it. I highly doubt that, bro.
Like, I'm a conspiracy theorist when it comes to this shit, though, man. Because I'm like, these dudes obviously they knew. And they were like, fuck it. This is more important. We're not talking about just video games here. We're talking about the future of humankind, assuming we ever get out of pandemic.
So you mean to tell me that Skateboard Kid 69 is really the martyr for the future?
I mean, there had to be a fall guy.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't going to receive progress without blood and flesh.
Well, I think maybe we could jump on this conspiracy theory and we could segue into the fact that there has been news about a few delays of some pretty big games. And one of them is one of the games that you, not lately, but over the past year haven't been able to shut up about, and that is Cyberpunk 2077, which has been delayed. I wish I had looked up the stats on this, but
for the 4th time, I think, man.
Yes, and delayed literally what, a week or 2 weeks? Wait,
a month. A month.
No. I mean, when was it getting released? It was getting released.
Oh, I think it was going to get released in a couple weeks, actually. Like,
so weeks ahead of the release, it gets delayed a month, basically.
Not only weeks ahead of the release, but a week after it announced it had gone gold. And we had discussions about this on social media with all sorts of randoms who had different opinions about it. One particular random told me, this is why I don't trust the gaming industry. This is why I don't trust gaming social media, because until the game's in my hand, I don't believe shit. And I'm like, dude, okay, I don't disagree with that. Until the game's in my hand, I literally can't tell you what it's like. But the damn development company said it was gold. It was done. And they delayed it afterwards. This is unprecedented.
Yeah.
I have never in my life heard of a game going gold and then being delayed for a month. Like, maybe being delayed in shipment. Maybe there was a shipment delay. Maybe there was a problem with the publisher. But at the development company, they discovered something at the end of the development cycle that required another month of development to rectify? Unheard of.
Yeah, that is a pretty unprecedented thing that happened. You gotta think there's so many things that this affects, so many ramifications of, like, you gotta think about, like, advertisers, right?
And, oh boy,
advertisers, and then we were just talking about influencers as well. Some guy put up a tweet about, like, oh, how dare you're the one that tweeted it out. You retweeted it, or you quote tweeted it. But this guy was talking about how he took the day off to cover the game or whatever. Dude. And he is not the only one. People laughed at that dude, but he's definitely not the only one that did that. I would imagine influencers were ready to cover this game as well as games media, and now that is going to be a thing they're going to have to readjust, as well as advertisers where there's actual money involved.
And we're not talking about just, like, game ads, because let's be honest. Cyberpunk is getting money from companies that we don't normally see interacting with the gaming industry.
Right.
Like, they got fucking Porsche on board. Porsche has to hit the brakes on their plans, no pun intended.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you what, they're not gonna hit the brakes on their plan.
Hell no, that car's coming out.
That plan is happening. The same thing as all these advertisements that they've been putting out and ramping up. I've seen Keanu Reeves so many times in these commercials when I was watching the World Series for the Dodgers and when they won. You know how many times I saw Keanu Reeves, bro?
It's too late to fucking hit the stop button on that. And they're not going to get him back, because next thing he's working on, the fucking Matrix revival. Nope. He's gone after December.
Oh, man. Yeah, so close to release date. I've never seen this before. It's unprecedented. It went gold, and now that changed the meaning of what going gold was, because that is usually the standard for this game is coming out, it's ready to go, and nothing is stopping. The baby's coming out, and you can't stop it.
Oh, boy. Tell me about it.
But it was stopped.
It was stopped. And it wasn't just stopped by a third party. It was stopped by the creators. And you're right. You're 100% on the mark. The problem with this is the fact that there's not a lot of sacred things in gaming, but one of the most sacred things in gaming is the phrase, it's gone gold.
Right.
You can always hang your hat on, it's gone gold. Even if there's problems that need to be fixed in post, it's gone gold.
Yeah.
And, CDPR, they said, fuck it. It's not ready yet.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of trust gone now, man. Like, how do you believe it's gone gold anymore? Like, there's always going to be that stigma of, is it really gold? Like, really?
Yeah, that meaning has... Well, okay. Let's also be realistic on one front. This is probably outside of Take-Two, the people that make Rockstar, the people that make Grand Theft Auto, probably the only other company that could probably do something like this.
Sure.
And out of artistic integrity, I suppose, or like just the game working correctly. Because I don't feel like EA would hold it back. I feel like they'd launch that
EA
shit.
Would definitely let that bitch rock.
Yeah, you're getting this FIFA. I don't care how many bugs are in it. It's got to come out August 15th. I'm sorry.
Fix that shit in post. Eat shit, motherfuckers.
Buy this game that you're going to buy every single year. But see, these games release usually... they have
expect that from EA, though.
Exactly. And... yeah, it's unprecedented on a lot of fronts, man. It's just because nobody else can really afford to do that. You know, like weeks outside, it's like, no, most companies I feel like would just let it ride. It is what it is. We're going to eat shit. Hopefully we don't get destroyed in the reviews or from consumers, and we'll just work on making it up to them. This is a really unique situation we find ourselves here with Cyberpunk. And I'm for, they could delay it as much as they want. We're obviously super close to a finalized version of the game, right? Yeah. Especially if they've only delayed it a little under a month. So, I mean, that's cool for me. And the other reason why it's cool for me, because I don't have a next-gen console. So it can wait. It can wait as long as all these games can be released when I actually get a PS5 or an Xbox Series X.
What's up with that pre-order?
I don't know, man. Dude, this is bullshit. The only time was like that week and a half that it was available for pre-order, and it's been nothing since then.
Dude,
nothing.
This is a very strange year for pre-ordering anything, because first it was the RTX 3000 series from NVIDIA. Mm-hmm. That was just a complete debacle. Yeah. And I hope they lose money from it, because that was just awful. Yeah. And then there was the PS5, which was... It wasn't bad, but it was also like, dude, you had to have your finger on the button. Like, I told my fiance, who wanted to buy me a PS5 for Christmas, hey, babe, the PS5s are going on sale today. And she was like, oh, yeah, no problem. I'll just buy them when they come out. I'm like, no. Like, I don't get it. Like, they're going on sale right now. You need to buy it. And I had to buy them. I had to buy it myself, and she got pissed at me for that. She was like, what the fuck? I was going to get that for Christmas for you. And I'm like, babe, if we didn't do it right now, we would never have it. Like, yeah. I'd be waiting until 2028.
Yeah, you'd be like me, dude, where it's like I'm fake prioritizing other parts of my life, not because I want to like do better in life, but just because I don't have next gen at my house.
And I'm like, I don't want to think about that shit.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna have next gen for quite some time, bro. So right now I'm playing Sekiro, and it's bugging the shit out of me that I'm playing on something. I know the game's not running at a full 60 frames. You know, I know it's struggling. I can see it when I'm playing it. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to play this game anymore. Like, I want to play it on next gen, you know? I want to play it on a high frame rate, you know, high resolution.
And the way it was meant to be played.
Yeah, man, and be able to load up spots real quick. Oh my God, dude. I just want that for every game now. It's crazy. Ever since they showed these videos about things loading up super fast and running at a high frame rate, I'm just losing it, man. I'm like, I gotta play everything at a high frame rate. What have I been experiencing? This console is so goddamn old. It
is,
oh my
man.
God.
You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok.
It's the only thing in my house that is this old, to be honest with you. Dude, honestly, dude, I have a drawing pad that's newer. Like, and I feel like I've had this for quite some time. You know,
God damn.
And my PC is like less than a year old. This fan I got here.
You got a nice PC too.
I know. And this fan I got here is 4 years old max. You know, it's crazy, dude. Like, you know, as good as anybody.
The PS4 is just outliving. It's outlived its worth.
Yeah, and you just think about it, like, man, you get rid of everything after about 5 to 6 years, especially like TVs,
a console,
and like. Yeah. But coming from a console standpoint, a person that's been supporting consoles since forever, you don't really think about it. You're like, oh, that's normal, you know? Like a console's lifespan is like 7 years or something like that, 5 to 7 years. And you're like, yeah, that's normal. But, you know, ever since I got myself a PC and I've been regularly upgrading myself every few years, you know, I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, man, consoles really are holding back the progression of video games, because
you have to wait. You have to wait for the new hardware that might be able to run your game the way you wanted it to be run.
it's also because that's where the consumers are, you know. So as much as PC is amazing and fantastic at doing great things with video games, it's not going to get pushed to that level until consoles kind of, I guess, integrate a way to be able to update itself in a similar fashion that PC does.
And that's going to be on the console publishing companies who decide if they want to make PC comparable machines cost effective. We're not talking about do they want to make them good enough, because they'll totally do that, but they'll also charge you an arm and a leg.
Well, I'll tell you what, I feel like with the breaking of that embargo and all the information we've gotten with the Xbox Series X, I think we're closer to the spectrum than we've ever been before of a PC level console, or at least something that could take advantage of a lot of the stuff that PC has had for quite some time now. And that is part of the reason why, to add to the Cyberpunk thing and bring this full circle, is they stated the reason why it's not getting released is because it itself is getting held back by current generation consoles. That it is not up to par. And when they said that they were making this game for PS4 as well, I was like, why? I remember when they said that, because I was like, I thought this was I don't understand how this game's going to even work on a PS4. And I feel
30 FPS.
Less probably, bro. Somebody's going to do a video and they'll be like, Jesus.
This is bullshit.
But
I have to pause real quick because I hear somebody crying and I got to go to the bathroom. But this is a good way to segue into the next topic. Give me a moment. Cool. So you actually bring up something that I've been wanting to talk about for a very long time in regards to Cyberpunk 2077, but it also extends to other games that might get the similar treatment of being on previous platforms and the upcoming current gen. And that's the fact that how are you actually going to sell that stuff to people who have to play it on the old gen, you know?
Yeah.
That just feels like there's going to be a little bit of disingenuousness there. There's going to be a little I don't know the word for it. There's going to be some lying going on. There's going to be some fibbing.
Well, the way that they've gotten around that is that they have like a package deal where if you buy this game last gen, you get the free upgrade. But why would I do that though? Is the thing that I'm having a hard time kind of making sense of. Like, why in the world would I buy Cyberpunk 2077 on PS4 when even just from the evidence of what I've seen other games can do in next gen, I would put myself through some masochistic shit by buying PS4 Cyberpunk. You know?
I mean, I'll tell you straight up, I played Final Fantasy 15 on PS4 and that shit ran like crap.
Yeah.
I saw that shit on an Xbox One. I saw it on PC. I'm like, that's the way it's supposed to look.
Did it really run better on Xbox One?
On the Xbox One Pro, I think, or the Xbox the Pro version of the Xbox One. It let it go in 60 FPS, and PC version was obviously just PC version. Yeah. But my point is that, I never at any moment believed in the success of a PS4 and maybe Xbox One, but not a PS4 Cyberpunk 2077. It was just going to push the hardware too hard. It was going to be a horrible time for people who were stuck playing on that console. It was basically just you should buy a PS5 commercial for $60-$70.
Mm-hmm. You know who else is eating absolute dog shit because of this same exact thing? Can you recall? Pretty big game.
Pretty big game. And we're talking about because it's on both generations.
Yes. It's in the notes.
It's in the notes.
Take a guess.
Let me take a guess.
Pretty big. It's pretty big.
It's pretty big. Let's see. We're talking about.
Just guess, man. Go with your guess.
Spider-Man?
Halo, dude. Halo.
Wait. Halo?
Yes. Halo has a component that is going to be on Xbox One. It has a version that's going to be on Xbox One. And people suspected that that's the reason why the graphics don't look like it's pushing next gen that far.
Oh my God. I actually did not know that. I didn't think that they were that stupid. You know,
No, dude.
I'm sorry, dude. That's the only way to describe that.
But this is having some serious ramifications. Because it's funny because everybody kept saying leading up to this next generation, right? It's like, oh, it's not going to be that big of a leap from generation to generation graphically like other consoles were, right? But the things that they're not taking into consideration is not just graphically, it's performance wise. I think we're becoming more and more receptive or visually being able to take in the fact that a lot of these games are not running correctly.
So you remember what they did with the PS3, right? Where they would announce games for PS3 and then they just wouldn't come out. And then towards the end of the PS3's life cycle, they said, hey, by the way, that game we announced for PS3, it's now coming to PS4. And everybody hated that. But
Cyberpunk.
They were yeah, exactly. But the companies were protecting the product by doing that.
Yeah.
And for some reason, this generation, they're like, we're not going to do that this time. We had great reasons. We had every reason in the world to do that the last 3 fucking times. But this time, we're not going to let you down. You're going to get Cyberpunk 2077 on your fucking PS4. You're going to get Halo Infinite on your Xbox One. And it's going to be complete dog shit. But you got what you wanted.
Yeah, it's just not a worthwhile venture. I mean, in hindsight, obviously, right? Like,
who's going to buy that?
I think you and I probably had similar sentiments of like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. But especially after the fact of seeing what's going on right now and what's happening specifically to Halo and this kind of crazy delay at the last hour, not even the last hour because, it went gold.
It went gold. So it was over. It was over.
There's no such thing as the last hour anymore.
They were packing up their desks, dude.
The people that were really upset about Crunch and all this other stuff must be losing their fucking minds. I'm like, what?
Oh, Crunch Part 2.
Oh my God, dude, Part 3, bro. It's like, man, 22 more days of this shit, and this.
Oh my God, I feel bad for those guys. I legit feel bad for that staff because I know they were probably the most ready for that game to be done. But and I don't know. Who was in charge of logistics and time management, but for whatever reason, they did not include the testing of the game on all 9 platforms, and that's why they had to delay it. They were like, "Oh yeah, game's done for PC."
Yeah, dude. The other crazy part is apparently the development team didn't find out about the delay until they read it on Twitter.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Shit was like they was ready to go on vacation. Now,
yeah,
you talked about breaking embargoes. You talked about breaking NDA, and this game did not escape that. I see it on the notes there. I see it in the outline. I got to bring it up because you showed it to me, and that was the first time I'd ever saw that image. I saw that video. So there is apparently, I can't confirm it. It does. I'm not sure if it's real, but.
We're reporting on it. We'll
just report that this thing exists.
Yeah.
There is a image of someone loading up the menu screen for Cyberpunk 2077 alive on social media, which means it's probably all over Twitter, it's all over Facebook, it's all over Reddit, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And the caption above it says, a recent build of Cyberpunk 2077 leaked online a few hours ago. Leaked online, which means it's out in the wild already. Apart from a few crashes on startup, it's playable now.
Yeah, fuck it. Run it.
Run it, dude. Run it.
Run that shit, bro. PC for life.
And this is the PC version, I would imagine, because there is a PC in the background of the image. Now, I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, so I would imagine that the delay has got nothing to do necessarily with the fact that they did not test all 6 versions of the game.
Yeah.
They found a bug that literally wouldn't let the goddamn thing start up. And that's pretty fatal. So I understand why they had to pull it back,
I don't know, Chris. This is sounding a little bit conspiracy theory status. Are we in the section of the show where we get that
Make
off?
Shit up and just
where you get, because that's your theme, bro.
That is my thing. I'm just going off of what I see here. So I'm just saying if that's what is the case, I totally get it. But fuck, that's just how these things happen. These things happen. As someone who's worked for QA for Sony in the past, I know that sometimes you release a game and just you miss one. One of them gets by, and it could be a pretty big ass bug,
Yeah.
And you got to fix it in post. You got to release the game and then suffer the slings and arrows of the fans until you can fix it. And I get it. The first impression is gone. And you never get it back. And so in that respect, I totally understand if a team at any moment before releasing the game pulls the brakes. It says, no, we're not going to release it this way. Some people are going to say they lost hype for the game, and, it was going to happen one way or the other, man.
Nah, I think some of that is bullshit. Lost hype for the game? I don't think so. If you're already committed to getting the game, you're still going to get it.
Between you and me, yes, I agree. But some people are saying they've lost hype for the game because of all the delays. And I'm like, okay, that's your right. You're allowed to just not give a shit anymore. But these companies are not interested in their first impressions just being terrible, EA will let that shit roll. We were talking about it before the show started. EA will let that shit rock. They'll be like, whatever. You bought it. We'll fix it eventually. Thanks for the money. But CD Projekt Red is, we'd rather, you at least enjoy the game first before we find any issues that we have to fix later on. And their press hasn't been 100% positive. They were on a roll for a long time with this game because everybody wanted to fucking eat this game's asshole out raw. That's the only way I can describe it, dude. Everybody loved this fucking game. There's like when they announced that you could assign your own gender, you could fucking make modifications to your fucking genitalia. People went fucking nuts for whatever reason.
Sold. Yeah.
Fucking sold, dude. And they were like, we don't want to betray that hype. So yes, we are going to delay it, even though we've got hit with the crunch fucking ban, with the crunch hammer. Everybody hates crunch. We had to do it, I'm not here to comment on that because I'm not a developer, so I don't think I have any space to talk about that. But the press has been up and down because of that shit. So they're thinking, well, the last thing we need is for this game to be released, and it's fucking unplayable.
And it's trash.
It's trash.
More bad press of legitimately our bad game.
Yeah, like that is just something like I don't think they would survive that.
This isn't even an opinion at this point. It is trash.
Yeah, dude. Look at fucking BioWare with fucking Anthem.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. They recently made a post talking about how they're gonna update that, but that game came out and just got ripped.
It buried them, dude. Like they had done so much goodwill.
It looks sick too.
It looked amazing. Well, the original looked amazing. The actual release looked like shit. They actually downsized it so much. Yeah. I was actually pretty pissed about that. And I'm playing on PC, so there's actually no reason for them to actually downscale it. But that's another topic for another time. Mm-hmm. The problem I had with it was that when I don't play a lot of BioWare games. I never played Mass Effect. I didn't play Dragon Age.
Yeah.
I didn't play Soldiers of Star Wars, the Old Republic, or whatever, SOTOR, or whatever they called it, right?
Uh-huh.
But I know that that's what these guys hang their hats on as a legacy. Uh-huh. And it only took Anthem to bury them. It only took Anthem to bury them. They killed it every time. But Anthem released, and Anthem was like basically their baby project. This was an experiment for them. MMO.
This was supposed to last quite some time. This is supposed to be on like Destiny level of like we're gonna support this game for quite some time. And yeah, it was basically another looter shooter, but people like that or not, but that wasn't the problem really. It's just that the game didn't fucking run right, and there was a lot of aspects of the game that weren't present.
It was not fun. Yeah. It was repetitive as hell. They like all the cool things that they showed us in the previews. But that was it. That was literally it.
Yeah, those previews look sick as fuck. The people playing it are liars.
Yes.
Those actors that they hired to have those combos of like, oh yeah, I'm about to go underwater now, guys. Here I go. Make sure my exhaust vents are covered because I don't want to get trapped down here. Whatever, like anybody actually talks
I remember
like that.
Shit, dude.
Yeah.
Well, that was like, well, thank God. Hopefully, they reset that whole way of presenting things at E3 after pandemic years lift up. But yeah, dude, like it only took that game to push them underground, and every time these guys tried to say anything, people just shit on them. They're like, "Fuck you, fuck Anthem. Anthem sucks." And I'm like, these guys made Dragon Age. They made fucking Mass Effect. It's all gone. It's all gone.
Yeah, well, you know, not to be on the doom and gloom side. Funny thing is, I mentioned it before. They made a post, and they're going to be going forward with the 2.0 version and try to rectify a lot of the problems that they had with the game.
And I'm excited for that.
I'm hopeful for that. I hope it's great. I will definitely give the game a shot if it gets good reviews and people recommend it. But until then, I mean, I'm not on board. But that's good to hear. And, you know, I'm sure Cyberpunk will be a great game, and it's unfortunate that it got delayed.
Right.
But I'd say we move on to a more positive side. We already talked about Spider-Man just looking amazing. And that is an exclusive. One of the big detractions about next gen has been there's not a lot of good exclusive titles on these consoles, and Spider-Man looks amazing. I think we can all agree that game looks great. But another game that just keeps knocking my socks off, bro, every single time I see it, is Demon's Souls. They recently released a trailer showing different aspects of the game and a few boss fights. And oh my god, bro, if the load times alone didn't get me excited for next gen, this game, I'm just thinking like, wow, you can make a game look like this. Wow, you could load into the next screen that fast. Wow, you know, the particle effects. Oh my god. Like, that trailer was amazing.
It doesn't look like it pulled any graphical punches. That's what I got.
No, it doesn't, you know.
And I think that's amazing for home console that, you know, anybody can just buy and pick up and play. And I'm so happy that people will be able to experience that. You know, and this isn't E3 showcase. This is not a trade show showcase where we would normally see this on the big stage and we think, wow, that looks amazing. Holy shit, we're in the future. And then the game comes out and it looks like fucking Mr. Potato Head.
This is a game that's coming out in a few weeks, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
I'm feeling good about it, you know, and this, I don't play those games. I don't play Souls games.
Yeah, me neither.
And I looked at this and I was like, you know what? This actually looks pretty dope. And it's not just because of the gameplay. I mean, the gameplay looks cool too. But it's just like, I'm really happy that I can get a similar experience from my console that I could from my high-powered, high-end PC. You know? Maybe not as nuanced, you know, because there's a little bit more beef in the PC. But at the same time, it's just like, I'm glad that I will be able to play this and not really feel like, oh shit, I'm getting a lesser experience from this. I'm just slumming it, you know, fucking ruffians all around me, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is that is exactly what next gen is doing to current gen. If you think that you get that feeling with PC, imagine what people who have an older console are going to feel like. And I feel like
fucking tops.
Yeah, and I feel like these two games, Spider-Man does have a PS4 component, which, again, I hate to be a drag, but it's just like, why? Me personally, I just cannot justify the purchase of buying a game that I know is going to exist at a much better capacity on next gen. I just can't. I'd rather save my money and buy next gen and get it whenever I get it. And there's going to be a
caveat of that upgrade, I imagine, though, right? It's not going to be like you just get the PS5 version of Spider-Man for the price of the PS4 version.
We talked about it on the last podcast, and basically, that's another thing we haven't talked a lot about is pricing, but it may not. But regardless, it's just the fact of like, if you could tell somebody. If I could give anybody advice that was thinking about getting the current Spider-Man, I'll just say wait until you can afford or secure next gen. Because Demon's Souls and Spider-Man look ridiculous. Specifically, Demon's Souls looks like the only game I've seen that's been showcased that visually, graphically, looks next gen as fuck. Like, beyond load screens or whatever, yeah, that looks super next gen, like in the way that it works, and the frame rates and stuff like that. But this visually and graphically looks ridiculous. I'm stunned at
the only thing I'm expecting. The only game I'm expecting to kind of compete on that level with it, and it's like a similar type of game. Is
Final Fantasy.
No, well, no, fuck Final, dude.
Damn.
Wait until I will wait until I see that trailer in 60 FPS. I'm sorry, I am too fucking old and too fucking knowledgeable in Final Fantasy history to play another fucking 30 FPS Final Fantasy game. Fuck them. I don't care if it's for cinematic effect. I will not play another 30 FPS Final Fantasy game.
Well, I was only comparing it because it didn't look that impressive to me when that trailer.
I mean, I'm gonna say, yeah, that was the other thing. I like Final Fantasy, but the idea of it becoming a full action game and just, you know, it should definitely be in 60 FPS in that respect. It just doesn't do it for me, you know. But there is a game that when I was watching that Dark Souls video and I was so impressed with the way they presented it and the way the game looks, I'm thinking like, dude, if it looks like this, I wonder what Godfall looks like. I haven't seen any real Godfall footage yet. I've seen like beginner level shit, you know, or they go through the tutorial missions and they run some quick battle clips and whatnot. Yeah. But I haven't really seen the nitty gritty of Godfall yet. And it's supposed to be like a looter shooter or a looter slasher. So this was not necessarily meant to be for PS4. This was something that the company was developing to compete with games like Destiny, like Anthem, you know, PSO2. This was already going to be an entry into that realm. And so I want to know what that looks like at a full, you know, at a complete level. And it's kind of weird that I can't see that because it's being released not only on PS5, but it's going to be on PC also, and it's going to be released by Epic Games. And I figured that Epic Games would be like, fuck it, we want to show as many trailers as possible for our own looter shooter. Like, what's the holdup, boys?
I would just say it's very telling. In my opinion, I'm not excited for that game.
And you might be right.
I don't think that game is gonna be pushing anything. It does look nice, but Demon's Souls is on a whole nother level. If you look at the trailer right now, there's footage of Godfall, right? You can look at the footage of Godfall, and you could look at the first trailer that came out showing gameplay of Demon's Souls. To me, it doesn't hold a candle to that game.
And I will just say that the way they presented that Demon's Souls game was the way I want them to present the Godfall footage. Godfall footage is basically just an MTV music video where it's like bam, bam, explosions of rock music, you know? But the Demon's Souls video was just straight up, we're just going to run you through some content. We're just going to run you through some early content. And then you're going to fucking die at the end of it.
That's pretty cool. I really dug the trailer. I got really high hopes for Demon's Souls, which is a PS5 exclusive. And if you really think about it, most console releases had pretty shitty exclusives on launch, save for Nintendo probably, which, I mean...
Oh, yeah, because everybody wants to buy a Mario. And there's never been a Zelda on launch, I think.
There has, Breath of the Wild. But technically, that was a transitional game because that came out before on Wii U. So,
wait, really? Dude, that's how long it's been. Jesus,
kind of unfair, I guess.
Yeah.
Super Mario 64 is probably the only super legit launch title that was like, what?
The killer app.
Yeah, I mean that blew everybody away.
Well, there was also Sonic Adventure.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
Come on, don't remember.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
Dude, he got to ride the snowboard and everything. Come on,
bro.
Every Sonic fan nutted when he got on the snowboard.
Hell Pockets, you need to cut it out, bro. We let you talk about Godfall, and now you're bringing up this trash.
I'm telling you, Sonic the Hedgehog is due for a rebirth, man.
I'm sure of that. Yeah, for sure.
That'll be a next episode. I have like a whole list of things I could yell at Sega about.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much covers a lot of the stuff that's happened between the last episode and now. Besides a few more tidbits that have come out of the overall battle between like content what vultures, I don't know, like content, securing content for their platforms, not even just for PS5 or anything like that, but just in general, so Chris, what's happening with Sony, man? What are they trying to look towards purchasing?
So I honestly was scratching my head at this because Microsoft recently spent like $7 billion on Bethesda.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking egregious. Ridiculous. And so everybody was asking, well, what is Sony going to do? What is Sony? What is the big acquisition that Sony is going to make that is the answer to this? And I'm not saying that this is that acquisition, although at the same time, I can kind of see how it might be a response to that. But Sony recently decided they were going to buy Crunchyroll, the anime distributor of Weeb America, because I say Weeb America because Funimation isn't for weebs, it is for casuals. Crunchyroll is for weeb connoisseurs. That is for the people. $957 million goes to Crunchyroll. I know a guy who worked for Crunchyroll. They used to be upstairs from my job. Each one of those guys is basically a millionaire now. I should hit him up. He owes me money. I can't say that this is that much of a head scratcher when you view it as a Sony Entertainment purchase.
Right, and that's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
Yeah, like if it's something where you look at it as like, oh, why is PlayStation purchasing Crunchyroll? That would be kind of weird. But this is Sony. They make TVs. They release movies. They are a multi-faceted company.
Yeah.
But I will say, anime and gaming do go pretty hand in hand. That's pretty much one for one. And this is not Sony's first big anime distributor acquisition. They also acquired Funimation.
When?
This was a couple of years ago. This is why a lot of because maybe 3 or 4 years ago, Crunchyroll and Funimation entered into a partnership, and a bunch of Funimation shows that were like more action oriented, like Rurouni Kenshin and Shonen Jump shit, started appearing on Crunchyroll, so that people could watch on either platform and vice versa.
Yeah.
And then Sony bought Funimation, and that was the end of that. They pulled a lot of shit. Basically, they pulled everything except for Kenshin and Dragon Ball Super.
Wow.
Although I don't know if Funimation ever. I mean, they did, but they didn't. They probably sold. That was a different contract, basically. But now Sony owns both of these platforms, which effectively means they own anime in America. The major anime distributors in America are now under Sony.
The biggest anime distributor that is legal is now Sony is now attempting to purchase. And
yes.
This is a really, really, really big deal. Not specifically related to consoles of any sort or gaming, but there has been a lot of struggle to secure content of whether it be TV shows, music, all the sorts. All these streaming services are trying to lock something down, or creating their own platforms.
Yeah. And I gotta say, that if trying to secure platforms is the name of the game here, they definitely beat the shit out of Microsoft. Because one thing that Microsoft could not do, and we saw this happen in real time, and we saw it fucking crash and burn in real time, was secure a platform. They created one, and it crashed and burned.
Are you talking about Mixer?
I'm talking about Mixer, baby.
Yeah.
So that was supposed to be there, like, we have our own streaming service, and you can advertise on it. This is our baby.
Yeah.
And they torched it. They're like, it's not making enough money. Get it out of here. Send them to Facebook. Sorry, Ninja. We'll see you next time.
And he's back on Twitch.
He's back on Twitch, But meanwhile, Sony's thinking like, well, People are watching anime on Funimation, and they're watching original content on Funimation. People are watching anime on Crunchyroll, and they're watching original content on Crunchyroll. I bet you these motherfuckers would love if we had some exclusive fucking content on both of these platforms.
Somebody should make that meme of while you were over here trying to secure Bethesda, I was over here studying the blade.
The blade, baby. The reverse blade.
Yes, the reverse blade sword. While you were trying to make video games, I was thinking, how much better can we do in securing these platforms that Microsoft has failed time and time again? Because, dude, Microsoft has had the hardest time on securing anything Japanese related, or at least making it work for their platform.
It's because they were looking in the wrong direction. I actually think that Microsoft, if they were serious about securing anything Japanese related, they should have not looked for video games. They should have looked towards visual media. They should have looked towards anime, movies, whatever. Just get your foot in the door. Get your name attached to a popular Japanese IP, and then fucking throw it in Halo. You know?
Yeah.
Throw it in the Microsoft version of Avengers. In the Xbox version of Avengers. Throw that random fucking connection you have into Avengers, you know?
Yeah.
Imagine if they bought the company that created Attack on Titan.
They'd be
like, we're gonna put Attack on Titan in Avengers, dude. Are you telling me that wouldn't sell? I don't care.
It'd be like,
it's wild as fuck. It's weird, but it would sell.
All right, PS5 owners, you guys got Spider-Man? Well, we got the dude on One Punch Man. The bald guy, what's his name? Saitama,
yeah. Dude. If Microsoft bought Shonen Joe fucking Shueisha, rap.
I mean, they got the money, bro. But here we are buying Bethesda. Anyways.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna like wake everybody up in the house talking about that, dude. Like, and they have the money for it. They have the money for it. They could have spent that money. Oh my God. No.
Oh,
anyway, continue.
Well, yeah. I just think the future is really telling, man. I mean, these companies are working overtime trying to secure their futures. Recently, I don't know if you're aware of this service, but Quibi just ended its services either real soon. They're going to cease to exist. And
I gotta say that's too bad.
Yeah, it is too bad. But it's not the first time we've seen companies or services like this come and go. I mean, they spent so much damn money. You know what I think about with this service is, it reminds me of the Fire Festival. I don't know if you ever watched that documentary. But it's like they spent all this money to secure like super legit people. Or I don't even know if they actually spent the money. But I know somebody got this money, right? And Quibi had some like high quality assets. And I'm like, damn,
some of that content looked really fucking cool.
And I'm never going to watch it because I'm not going to pay for that service. But just looking at it, it looked pretty legit and expensive, especially for a brand new streaming service. So, yeah.
I couldn't figure out what it was because they first advertised it as like an answer. It was supposed to be a replacement for fucking Vine.
Was it?
Because they were like, yeah, there was like some shit like you got nothing to do right now. Watch a quick Quibi or something.
Oh yeah. Well, it was supposed to be not like Vine, but another form of like highly produced content. You know.
Yeah. And then they started buying official content and making movies. And then it became Netflix.
Basically, yeah, they became another form of Netflix, which is like right now is like the worst time to be doing stuff like that. I mean, there's
ironically,
yeah. There's just so many different platforms. Bro, I feel like I'm back to paying for cable again. I was saving money for some time, and now the subscription prices are getting pretty high. And it's like,
there's a lot of subscriptions, man. Like, you got to have HBO Max, you got to have Hulu, got to have Netflix, got to have... Tubi wants you to pay money now. The free service says, you know what? If you paid money, you get even more weird-ass movies you've never heard of.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm subscribed to Discord Nitro. I have too many.
Too many $9.99 subscriptions.
Oh, man.
It sounds cheap, but when you have like 8 of them, That's still $72.
Dude, PC Master Race never had to pay for a PSN or Xbox Live.
Bro, I'm just saying. I bought a fucking Game Pass, and I didn't even get anything for it. I was like, I bought it, and I saw what was available. I was like, I don't even play these games. But holy shit.
Yeah, that was me looking on Steam for like Halloween sales. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna buy this game I'm never gonna play. Sure.
It's $2, man. Shoot.
Yeah.
Although sometimes you do run across some pretty cool stuff doing that. But yeah, man, I think Quibi, unfortunately, just it's a sign of the times, man. Where there can only be one. There's going to be a Highlander incident.
This goes into, to bring this full circle and taper off this episode. It goes into the whole thing of like these exclusives and what content are you gonna have for your console and everything like that. Those things still matter, probably matter more than they ever have. Actually, now that I think about it, you know, and that's what it's like for all these platforms, whether it be for your console, your gaming console, or your streaming service. Like everybody's trying to secure that exclusive show that's doing great or something that already has a name behind it. Yeah, the fight for supremacy on these platforms is getting ridiculous. But you know what, Chris? I truly do think this, that we as consumers are winning.
100%, dude.
Except for getting pre-orders for the PS5. So
except for getting
fuck y'all.
I can't even get a pre-order for Xbox Series, dude. I don't know why everybody's tripping off PS5. I can't even get an Xbox. You got Logan Sama out here shitting on Xbox, talking like nobody wants that shit. Like, I can't even fucking find a place to buy it.
I wouldn't mind, is all I'm saying, because I'll try to run these games that run better on there.
Right.
I'm actually really excited for that. Like, that's a big deal to me as a consumer.
As not only a consumer, but someone who plays old games, and you and I play old games.
Exactly. Yeah. For sure.
And I'm not talking about, like, Nintendo era. I'm talking about, like, Street Fighter 4. Like, if we could run Street Fighter 4, shit on that, we could run Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. I talk about this every episode.
Yeah.
Like, there are just so many opportunities that we just miss by not going with Microsoft as fighting game players. As fighting game players, we have done ourselves a disservice thinking that Sony would lead us to the promised land. And to current date, they haven't even announced if they're even supporting anything fighting game related. I still haven't seen the PS5 stick from Hori officially licensed.
Well, dude, they supported
Xbox.
They supported Street Fighter 5 and King of Fighters 14, and that went super good.
That went great. Actually, sidebar, addendum.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that Sony cut the cord from Capcom because of that.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that. Yeah.
They literally told them, fuck off. We're not footing the bill anymore.
For what?
Capcom Cup is going to have to go and do its own thing wherever the hell you decide to do it. And they ended up doing it in Vegas at the Esports Arena in Luxor. And I mean, I had a good time because I love going to Vegas, but I can imagine a lot of those guys are thinking, fuck, this kind of sucks because I miss being in the big-ass arena.
So let's outline this a little better. This will be our last topic for the episode. Hell Pockets and I are fighting game players, for those people that watch this and don't know that we do that, but I would assume most of you guys do. And there was a time early on in the PS4's life cycle where Sony was footing the bill for Capcom Cup, or at least a big sponsor.
They were basically giving up a spot in the venue at PlayStation Experience.
Exactly, and it had a lot of good funding, and things changed after a few years, and now they are out.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the scenario. Find yourself in that.
That's the background of it, and everybody seems to believe that they will just jump back in bed with fighting games with Capcom after that. I mean, I don't know about you, Abe, but when I kick somebody to the curb like that, and that's it,
Yeah,
like, they already crossed me.
I think the only game that has clout like that would be a Mortal Kombat game.
And they never really fucked with Mortal Kombat like that. If anything, Mortal Kombat is building its own platform because that's Warner Brothers. And shout outs to Roadrunner Records. Those guys are doing serious work building something we've really never ever seen in the fighting game community, which is a developer just basically outdoing the console creators, the console publishers. You know, granted, it is again Warner Brothers. They have the disposable income to do things like that. They fucking got Rambo.
Well, yeah. The other thing is that you've never seen a symbiotic relationship quite like this ever.
No.
That also makes fighting games. So it's pretty crazy when you involve music and movies and all this stuff into the thing that is Mortal Kombat and NetherRealm and what they can do with all those properties. So, I mean, yeah,
it's honestly fascinating because these are things that we were playing KOF 13 back in the day. The only thing we wanted was for SNK to just acknowledge that these are things that we were doing to promote the game, and if they cared enough to pay attention and possibly adhere to some of the suggestions, or even just look at some of the things that they could witness, some of the things that were happening, maybe that would be enough for them to support it, And we've come a long way since then, We get support from SNK, we get support from Capcom, we get support from all sorts of companies, but Warner Brothers, NetherRealm Studios is on another level.
Yeah, man, on another level, and I hope someday for us beloved fighting game fans that we get to a certain level. Maybe we may never reach the level of NetherRealm and Mortal Kombat, but some level of success. And I do think it's possible. And this is definitely, what I'm about to bring up is definitely meant for another podcast. But I'm just going to bring it up for a second. All the things that are happening with the netcode are definitely a step in the right direction.
And
100%. Especially for new releases that could change the game. And like I said, that's a topic for a whole nother podcast that we probably do next time. I don't know. We'll see. It's something we're definitely going to talk about very soon.
I do want to close up my statement on the Capcom and Sony situation. You mentioned how they foot the bill for Street Fighter V, and they also foot the bill for KOF 14.
Yeah.
Capcom and Sony, as far as it was public. They discontinued their working relationship in a very public way. But from as far as I know, no one has told me, no one's made an announcement about it, but Sony and SNK have not had such a similar parting yet. So that could be a relationship that is still in play.
Fingers crossed, man, is all I have to say. At the end of the day, I'm very hopeful for all the things that we're talking about. I think once everything gets released, I think we're all going to be really happy.
I think so too.
We just don't know yet. And we're not very far from the release date of the PS5, the Series X, and pretty soon we're going to get a pretty damn good idea of what next gen is going to be like. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there to experience it because I don't have a pre-order or the influencer console. They missed us, bro.
One day, baby. Dude, maybe in 4 or 5 years, we'll get a PS6 and we'll be like, yeah, I can barely see the fucking dots in the screen because I'm old as fuck.
We're definitely getting snubbed for KOF 15. I know it. That's going to be the dagger in the heart.
Don't even jinx it like it, dude. I swear to God. If we get snubbed for... I will actually talk shit if we get snubbed for Oh, my God. I will go off.
Oh, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to call it a night for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Chris, you're fantastic as always, sir.
Thank you.
If enough news gets built before the next episode, we'll do another one real soon.
I'm pretty sure we got plenty of stuff we can do just that came out in the last 15 minutes.
Hey, you're probably right. All right, folks, you guys have a good night and catch us on the next episode. Peace.